I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I hear it's a big day for you guys. Tonight's practice will be the first day of camp actually at Stanford. Do I have that correct?
Yes, that's correct, and I think it might be the first day of pads as well, full pads.
Yes, that's also the rumor that I heard. All right. So what's the level of excitement right now? How are you feeling today about all that?
I'm pumped up. I mean, it's going to be nice to be back on campus. It makes the logistics a little easier. Before we were going to get bused to a local high school, so I was just spending a little extra time in the process. But I mean, it'll be nice to be back on campus today.
Yeah, what was the first, I guess, 5 days of camp like? Having to get on a bus, go to San Mateo County, practice at a high school, try and figure it all out as you guys are coming back together. What would you say the first 5 days or so have been like?
Definitely different, but I mean, this whole season is going to be a little different. I guess our whole mindset going into it, we kind of had the little mantra of whatever it takes. So I mean, everyone was just kind of dealing with the adversity and the situation around us and trying to excel as best as possible.
All right, so for you, you obviously took the reins of the offense this offseason, building on your experience from last year. I look at your roster and I see, a lot of skilled receivers, some young, hungry, skilled running backs. When you look around, what excites you most about this offense and the weapons that you guys have in place around you?
A little bit of everything. Like you said, we do have a lot of skill guys coming back with experience, and then some younger guys who are stepping up who are going to be really exciting to watch this year. Also, a big factor that you didn't mention was I think a lot of young guys got a lot of experience at offensive line last year. They might have gotten thrown in a little early last year when they might not have been ready, but they had a full off season to prepare and get in the playbook and prepare their bodies for this upcoming season. So that's going to be great.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to follow up on that because obviously I think that is one of the silver linings to not having a ton of consistency on the O-line last year was that you had a lot of guys get experience and get game experience. So from your perspective, where is that group as a whole at this point?
I believe that right now in camp, we're farther ahead than we were last year. Just because we still were a little banged up at the start of last year, started camp, but I believe this year, I mean, it's kind of been pretty flawless transition, installing the new installs and getting through the start of our playbook. I mean, we're going out and executing at a high level with a lot of new guys at offensive line.
Health wise, I know you've battled injuries in the past. How are you feeling right now?
The best I've ever felt. I haven't been injured in a while now, and I mean, our strength and conditioning staff has done a great job preparing us and getting our bodies right for this season. So, I mean, I'm excited.
Great to hear. Tavita Pritchard the other day was saying that the thing that he loves about you is how calm and cool and collected you are and that you never get rattled. But he said he sometimes has to remind you that it's okay to show a little bit of emotion. So how do you thread that needle of being super even keeled and also recognizing that, the team and the offense in particular feeds off of your energy? Is that something you even think about or?
Yeah, there's definitely situations. I like to keep that like cool, calm, collected. I guess demeanor about me when I'm playing football, but there are definitely times in the game where you kind of need to step it up and remind the offense or the defense, hey, this is a key part of the game. We really need to convert this long third down, or hey, we got to put together a big drive right here to go down and score. So, I mean, just showing that to the offense and showing that little bit of fire that's building up beneath you. I mean, it plays a big role in getting some energy behind you.
I want to go back to something you said earlier when you're talking about the excitement that you have about a lot of the skill guys around you on offense. If you can predict, and I don't want you to have to single any guy out, but I'm going to ask you to, is there one or two guys that you think we're going to really be talking about when all is said and done this season?
I mean, there's one or two. I think there's also maybe three or four guys, maybe five. I think our whole receiving crew right now, Simi Fehoko, Michael Wilson, Osiris St. Brown, and Connor Weddington. I mean, any one of those guys we can plug and play in any position on the outside. And really, I mean, if I get the ball to them in space, they're going to make big plays happen.
What has it been like for you, Davis, watching other teams on Saturdays? Have you sat back and watched college football on your couch the last few Saturdays as it's gotten underway?
The first weekend I was able to. Since then, though, we've kind of been going. I've been back out here at school. So, I mean, I haven't had too much time on the weekends because we've been practicing or training. So, I mean, I like to watch as much as I can. I'll try to catch highlights later in the night or the following morning if I can. But I mean, we're kind of focused on what we're doing around here rather than what's going on around the country.
But I guess if you did see week one, did you see KJ Costello break the SEC single game passing record?
I did. That was awesome. I texted him before the game the previous day, and then I texted him again after, congratulate him. He was fired up, and I mean, it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. For you personally, what's going to be the thing that is going to take you to where you want to be from your personal goals? And I know you guys got a lot of high goals as a team, but for you, between now and November 7th, what's the thing that you want to improve on the most?
Just performing in this offense at the highest level I can, being efficient through my reads, getting through my progressions. Last year, first couple of games, I struggled and was kind of leaning towards that first progression on our plays. But I think just having a little more experience, sitting comfortable in the pocket, I'm able to kind of be a little more patient back there and get through my reads, and then really find the open receiver and, I mean, let them do the work.
Last thing for me, and then we'll open it up to other media questions. Yogi Roth at the Pac-12 Network always calls David Shaw the conscious of college football. What advice, or what's the best advice that he's given you and your team this year as you guys have had to navigate so many things over the last 6 months?
I mean, he kind of just keeps reminding us that we can't really control any of these uncontrollables. So we have to focus on ourselves and just put our head down and get to work. I mean, it's kind of something he plays off that same cool, collected demeanor that I do. And I think he's mentioned that before, but I mean, sometimes he'll fire it up a little bit. And when he fires it up, everyone feels it and we get a sense of urgency to keep pushing forward.
All right. Awesome. Davis, I appreciate it. Best of luck this year. Look forward to watching you play.
Thank you.
All right, Jesse.
Thanks, Ashley. And we'll turn it over to media questions now. And our first one will come from RJ Abadia. As a reminder, please use the raise hand function if any media have questions. RJ?
Hey, Davis, thanks for taking the time to do this.
Of course.
My first question is just about legacy. Coaches talk all the time about when guys get to their last year or towards the end of their last years, guys kick it into gear in terms of urgency and really focusing on what they want to get done. I'm curious, did you need that kind of push, or have you felt that kind of urgency? And then the second part is, have you and Foster and your fellow classmates talked about what that means for your class?
Definitely. I think a lot of us feel that urgency. I mean, I kind of came here as a Stanford football player to move on to the next level at some point. And a lot of us in that class feel that. Paulson, Adebo, and Walker Little already opted out to prepare for the NFL draft. And there's a lot of us who want to end up going on that same route. Not saying opting out, but I mean, perform the best we can this season, then pursue it afterwards if we're able to. So, I mean, we definitely feel a sense of urgency from that, and same throughout my the rest of my recruiting class.
Okay, our next question will come from Rusty Simmons.
Hi, Davis. Ashley asked this probably better than I could have anyway, but talking about the difference between poise and showing a little bit of fire. Coach Pritchard said that he's ready for you to take the next step in leadership. How do you balance those things as you take that next step?
I mean, it's tough sometimes. You got to really, I think the biggest part is knowing the guys around you and really getting comfortable with leading how you and your personality feels the best fit. Some guys don't need the big push that others do. They're internally motivated, and I don't need to nudge them along as much as I would another guy. But I think that goes to show some of the guys in our locker room. We recruit a particular individual, and most of those guys are those internally motivated guys. So I don't have to do too much. But I mean, once we get on that game day, I mean, everyone gets fired up, and I'll be fired up myself. So it'll be fun to lead those guys out on game day.
And we had a chance to talk to Malik Antoine this last week, and he talked about some social issues and conversations you guys were having as a team. Any insight you can give me there about some of those tough conversations, learning conversations that maybe you guys have had, anything that's impacted you?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of it has impacted me, obviously. What we like to do on our team, we're open about everything, and we like to have those open conversations without anyone being too negatively affected from what is said. But growing up, I grew up in a safe environment. Wasn't really affected in my community by any of the social issues. So, I mean, hearing perspectives from other people on my team really opened my eyes to what's going on around the world and around the country. And I mean, it's sad to see what some of the stuff that's going on, but feeling this connection in our locker room, I feel for my brothers. And I mean, I've told them, hey, reach out to me with whatever you want, whatever you can, if anything pops up. And I mean, I'll be one of the first guys there to help you.
Right on. Thanks, Davis.
Yep.
Okay, our next question will come from Dennis Dodd.
Hey, Davis. I wonder if you saw that letter from the USC players last month, which apparently had a lot to do with you guys even getting back on the field and playing a season this year. What that meant to you and what that meant to the league?
I mean, it was huge. It was awesome that USC came together. I think it was led by one of my actually roommates' little brothers, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And it was great. They had that sense of urgency to really get our season back on tracks. And I think a big role also played that Big Ten called back on their season. And then we were able to follow up after that. I mean, it's great what they were doing down there. We were doing some stuff up here as well. But I mean, I love that we could come together as a conference like that and really get a push that we needed to get the season back on track.
What did that say about the power of the athlete, I guess?
It's huge. I think it's changing from more so seeing players as individuals under like this big system to now a shift into, I mean, like you said, there's more power of the athlete. There's more opportunity for each individual to get their voice heard. So, I mean, it's huge. I think slowly the shift of athletes as just like parts of a big plan is changing.
Part of their assertion was that, the local health restrictions were too strict. Did that ever enter into your mind in Santa Clara County?
I've definitely thought it a couple times, but I mean, we're kind of in the situation now where the season's back on. I mean, I can't complain about anything that's going on. I get to do the thing that I love and go out and play football. As long as we follow those rules, I mean, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Good luck. Thanks.
Thanks.
And our next question will come from Kelsey Eckberg.
Hey, Davis, thank you so much for your time. So kind of along the same lines of talking about your family and what it means to everyone, Pac-12 parents have started a petition asking to be allowed to attend the games inside of the stadium this season. What specifically would it mean for you and then for some of your teammates to be able to have your families in the stands?
I mean, it would mean a great deal. This potentially could be my last season of college football, and if my parents or close friends weren't able to see it, I mean, it'd be tough. But I mean, I'm kind of have the mindset right now that whatever we got to do to play, we got to do that, because I'm excited to get this season moving forward. And I mean, we have team goals that we want to go out and achieve.
Absolutely. And is there anybody that it would benefit, or teammates that that this would be an opportunity that their parents haven't gotten before?
Not particularly. A lot of our guys already have playing experience, and their families have seen them in the past. Luckily, we got to play UCF last year, and a lot of the East Coast families that weren't able to see games in the past were able to come down to that in Florida instead of making the big trip out to California. So we were grateful for that. But I mean, a lot of the younger guys still have a lot of time here, and hopefully this pandemic blows over, and their families will be able to see them in the following season if nothing changes.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Okay, and our next question will go to Troy Clardy.
Davis, good to talk to you. The brand for Stanford offensively over much of the last dozen years or so has been a bone-crushing running game. Last year, weren't able to do it. This year, with the crazy deep receiving core that Stanford has, you could argue that Stanford might not necessarily need to do it. Well, what's your initial read on some of the things that Stanford offensively might be emphasizing this upcoming year?
I think our offense is going to be very exciting to watch. I think we are able to attack defenses in a variety of ways. We will still have some of those short yardage goal line packages like we have in the past, where we're trying to run the ball straight through the defense. But I mean, we also have the ability to spread it out and attack defenses all across the field. So I mean, I'm excited to do whatever's asked of me.
Thanks, Davis.
Okay, our next question will come from David Bush.
David, you said you're feeling healthy, but are you as mobile now as you were before? You were able to regain all your mobility, and how big a part is that of your game?
I believe I have. I think we actually have been using catapult units, which is a little GPS unit that we put on during the runs. And what I've heard from our strength coach is that I'm topping out on speed faster than I have in the past, which goes to show, like I said before, our strength conditioning program and our coaches are doing a great job getting us prepared for this season. So that's a big thing. And then also we're implementing a little bit of ways to get me out of the pocket, ways to be able to throw on the run and attack defenses, either by hitting receivers on the run, or if nothing's open, I can attack them with my legs. So that'll be an important role for our offense, just converting on different downs and maybe even some third longs and stuff. So that'll be interesting.
And you talk about, the previous questioner talked about the reputation of the running game Stanford had, but Stanford has a long legacy of great quarterbacks. This T formation was invented there, and you got Plunkett, Elway, Luck. Are you aware of the Stanford quarterback tradition?
I am actually. When we get assigned we get given scholarships through Stanford, we actually get assigned scholarship donors who are donors who pay for the athletic scholarships. And one of my donors is actually Jim Plunkett. So, I mean, it's been great getting to know him over the years. And it's great that those guys still stick around the program and give back. But I mean, yeah, I do know the legacy of quarterbacks who have been through here. And I guess it gives me a little pressure and a little just motivation behind me to go out and excel and hopefully follow in their footsteps.
Thanks very much.
Okay, we will go back to RJ Abadia.
Hey, Davis, you talked about the way that the role of athletes is kind of shifting as we move forward. One of your teammates or ex-teammates, Dylan Bowles, was really involved in the push for getting a union or an association for college football players. First of all, do you agree that that's a necessary move? And if you do, could you kind of articulate from your point of view why you think college athletes need that kind of representation?
We'll kind of see how it all plays out over the next couple years. I think a big change will be once that the NCAA passed the name, image, and likeness ruling that they will in the following years. So I think that'll change a lot. But about unionizing all of it, it would protect the players and give us a little added power. But we'll see what happens over time.
Okay, that was the last question in the queue. If there are any other media questions, please use the raise hand function. And we'll go back to RJ again.
So, Davis, you've had a road at Stanford that I think nobody could have expected. I'm just curious about two things. Number one, what has this journey taught you kind of about yourself, about football, about anything that you plan to take with you? And number two, did your particular journey help you deal with the unprecedented circumstances of this year in terms of patience and having to wait through things where you don't really know how it's going to work out?
Yeah, so I mean, to answer the first one, I mean, my tough road has taught me a lot of patience. Just kind of that mindset of, hey, I can't really control any of these uncontrollables. I just got to put my head down and get back to work. Because I mean, like Coach Shaw says all the time around here, he's going to play the best guy. And so I was just going out there every day to try to improve anything I could to be that best guy and give the team a chance to win. And yeah, like that kind of does play a role into all the stuff that's going on now. Everything going on in this country right now is uncontrollable to me and this team. So we just got to put our heads down and get to work. We only have one job this year, and that's getting wins on the schedule.
And we have another follow-up from Kelsey Ekberg.
Yeah, just to follow up from a question Ashley asked you. I know you haven't been able to take the time on Saturday to watch other teams that have already gotten to start their season. So my question to you is, if you had a magic wand, would you always start the season with everyone else, or do you like this kind of break that you're getting beforehand?
I mean, this year we kind of needed the break because we weren't out here all off season to train as a team and to prepare the same that teams across the country were. So, I mean, it's beneficial this year, but I would say every other year, it's nice to kind of kick football off that same kickoff weekend that everybody else is. I mean, you get the feeling of a full season and all the energy that's going on around the country. You definitely feel it. I think it'd be nice to start with everybody else.